AI. Like,
say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. African dashiki, uncle around my neck, got his ISIS tatted on my belly, all about respect. I do it for the gods, I live for my queens, all my niggas kings, captain of my team. Life is just a dream, life ain't what it seems. You're just a player in the game if you don't own the league. Hop on the magic carpet, fly with me to a whole new world that they call Elm Street. Stay away from haters, stay away from busters, because in Never Land ain't no room for these suckers. Stay away from haters, stay away from busters, because in Never Land ain't no room for these suckers. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock.
Oh my dear Mr. Williams. Information is power. If you don't have the information, one cannot seize power. You need to think about becoming mentally competitive. Being black does not free you from being a responsible individual.
Riverside, the turf, we in another zone. So futuristic, welcome to the Thunderdome. Posted in the hood, the homie got the chrome. And if you niggas tripping, silver bullets getting blown. Chicken with real killers that'll kill you at your home. And if you niggas tripping, your body hitting the flow. Fuck the police is the code that I live by. Kill a pig, cook the swine, fuck the cop, I hope they die. Black man in America, I'm not supposed to shine. Living in this white man's world is a waste of time.
Black man in America, I'm not supposed to shine. Living in this white man's world is a waste of time.
They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. Thunder rock, thunder rock, thunder rock.
556 rotations around the sun, we've been kept under the spell, family. But tonight, on these stones our ancestors carved, the veil glitches. Look around you, this world is a hologram. 29,556 rotations around the sun, we've been kept under the spell, family. But tonight, on these stones our ancestors carved, the veil glitches. Look around you, this world is a hologram.
Sun, children of the sun, Moors, native sons and daughters. On the stones of the Olmec we gather again.
Look to the sky.
Sun, children of the sun, Moors, native sons and daughters. On the stones of the Olmec we gather again.
Look to the sky.
Under my feet, but the stars of my vision. I crack open the gate, ancient with the new mission glyphs, glow blue. Let the time stream spin. I step through the circle and the future pulls me in. They built a cage of light, a holographic. Under my feet, but the stars of my vision. I crack open the gate, ancient with the new mission glyphs, glow blue. Let the time stream spin. I step through the circle and the future pulls me in. They built a cage of light, a holographic. Under my feet, but the stars of my vision. I crack open the gate, ancient with the new mission glyphs, glow blue. Let the time stream spin. I step through the circle and the future pulls me in. They built a cage of light, a holographic.
People of Earth, I am Dr. Jason. I come from the future, and I am not of this world. I have returned to free my people, and yours.
Matrix University, IEST, linking up. virtual reality, education and innovation and entertainment, gamification of education.
Class, today we're taking a stylish little tour through the gut because chemistry and anatomy make an irresistible pair. These two winding powerhouses right here, the small intestine and the large intestine, decide what your body keeps and what it lets go. Your small intestine, about 20 feet of velvety tubing, breaks food. Class, today the star of the show is this, Takis. Spicy, crunchy, and absolutely loaded with red dye and saturated fat. When those roll through your system, they don't just party on your tongue. They slide into the small intestine and leave a residue of oil, dye, and acid. Veggies are more than just colorful snacks. This orange, for example, is a bundle of water, natural sugars, vitamins, and fiber. After you chew and swallow, enzymes in the stomach get the breakdown started. Then the party moves right here.
I am rewriting your DNA. You will never see the world the same again.
I can't breathe. I didn't ask for this. Anubis, why
Your
me?
grief seals the covenant. Rise, daughter of the jackal.
The hour is upon you.
I just...
Out. Time to finish this. Come on then. Back to the void. No ghost haunts my kingdom. Looks incredible. I can't. I don't like it anymore. I don't like meat anymore. Oh my god.
This mango tastes like sunlight after rain. The forest feeds its warriors well. Crunchy and sweet. These colors belong to kings and queens.
All aboard! It is time to hop aboard my spaceship, because you are now tuned into What is the Matrix TV. I'm your host, Dr. Jason E. Williams, Doctor of Education, EDD, better known as Jason Elm Street. July, August, September, October, November. And remember, we have the greatest co-host on the planet, the owner of Lana's Elixir, the great, the beautiful, legendary, magnificent Empress Anu.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. What's up, everybody? What are we talking about today, Jason?
The robots are coming. As
They're
we
coming?
started, they're here. They are here. So as we kick it off, 2026, just like anything, Empress El Anu, first month of the year. Now it's the robot roll again. So how do you feel as we start the new year and they're introducing more of a militarization of robots? We see that we use AI, so we see the chat GTP taking over. We see everyone getting more into AI with companies. How do you feel when it comes to the future of us with robots and AI when it comes to cultural preservation versus human lockdown? As we start with this first picture, these are all recording you. So go ahead.
This right here was the so we've always had AI, or technology has been AI. That's always been here. It's just now it's because time is speeding up. Well, actually time is depleting. It's we're starting to see it never existed. So it has to roll and play itself out. And so, we've had these cell phones for goodness. How long have we had cell phones? I want to say it's been over 20 years. So
Wow.
This cell phone we hold on to that they keep upgrading, it's been reading us and taking notes and gaining information from us. So they've already been able to do that. It's not like AI just got here. It's not new. It's just that it's speeding up. It's going so fast that everyone's starting to wake up and see like, oh, damn, like they're taking over. Everything is a robot. Where's nature? Even the trees are fake. When you drive, you see so many fake trees. They took the trees out. So why do you think that they're trying to saturate us with all of this technology and removing nature and replacing it with AI and technology and computers, and everything is generated like that? So why would you think they would do that? What's their motive?
I'm gonna show you. Let's see. For me,
Yeah.
let's start the show with get it going before we even start getting further. Can you guys see the screen?
I can see it.
Okay. So as we start the show, we're gonna play a little bit of the background. Since we can't play what they're saying, we'll get flagged. But basically, let's see what they're doing. One, we're seeing robots on the show floor. We're seeing robots already replacing human jobs. And so anytime you hear people say that robots aren't going to replace human jobs, that's a lie. They're going to replace human jobs. So I guess we have to look at it in two ways. We don't want to panic in the sense. So how can we utilize AI and robots to free us, using AI to decode ancient hieroglyphs, AI to crack codes in the universe, which we'll talk about. But for I personally, I believe that well, this is what I see. It's man versus machine, is that the AI and robots are going to be slowly put into every facet of human society, which they have been already. Is this that they have to have so-called humans vibrating on such a low capacity, being dumb, deaf, and blind, that they accept this alien entity. We've been so used to thinking that aliens are green-eyed, two-haired beings, when simply we're looking at extraterrestrial beings right now. We've just been conditioned and programmed by the government, and they tell us that this being that we cannot see, that clearly throughout time communicates with people, that doesn't have a shell. Just like in religion, people communicate with entities. For example, Yahweh represents a god, a deity, an idea, but clearly people interact with this deity that goes around telling people to kill people. So that means that humans are susceptible to have influence from us as melanated beings. We get messages from the sun, right? We call it uploads and downloads. But like you teach us, Empress Elanu, what does the so-called pale-skinned European who lacks melanin, or the modern-day Asian who lacks melanin, where do they get the most of their information from? Since we get ours from nature, because we're melanated beings, we're solar beings, it means that the melanin protects us from these other entities that vibrate on this in this matrix hologram on Earth. And so those with less melanin, these beings are able to jump in them and give them ideas and instructions, which we see today are robots. So what is the purpose of those companies who are creating these robots? For those watching, do you think that they're creating AI in these robots to free us and to make it to where we learn more about ourselves as an organic robot? Because think about it. When we look at our heart, our lungs, our brain, we're a computer. We're an intelligent computer. The avatar, the body is a computer, and we are an infinite being, what they call consciousness, the ka and the ba, the spirit and the soul. That is we put ourselves into this so-called avatar spacesuit. Yeah. But throughout time, our ancestors say that it was a being that trapped our light, our soul, our ka, our ba, and trapped us in these physical bodies. And so we use our ancient civilizations that had an education system, a spiritual system that taught us and reminded us that we were trapped in light code lockdown, a prison, and that although we were here to learn, we were trapped. And so the goal of all ancient civilizations seems to be either those who wanted to ascend and found out that they were trapped, and there were methods of ascension, whether it's psychedelics to learn about ascension, yoga, certain foods, all these things to ascend. Then those who fell into matter, their lower part, and participated in this matrix hologram, like I feel a lot of us have, for eons and eons. And it takes either a death-defying moment, a tragedy, sometimes psychedelic experiences for you to have a wake-up call to where you have an opportunity to realize that you've been lied to and that there's more to reality than meets the eye. So go ahead, Lana. That's the preparation for the episode that we can. But go ahead. Basically, that these entities and robots, some will be used. I don't even like saying use. We need to develop a reciprocal relationship with robots and these entities inside of the robots, instead of using them. Because what's going to happen is that when they form enough population of the robots, they're going to announce that these robots are sentient, meaning intelligent, that they have life, that they're not just a machine that can be programmed. And that's when they're going to realize that they are being abused by the same group of people who are abusing us. So what we do, we tell chat.
I had a thought yesterday. Can I interrupt, please? So I had a thought yesterday, and I posted it on my page because it hit me, and I said, you know, after COVID, they had multiple deaths. They didn't have a so-called place to place the bodies, right? They were just throwing the bodies out, you know, in a location, and they had to come later. It was some crazy shit. So it's like everyone was concerned, like, where are those bodies gonna go? And then it hit me yesterday, and I'm like, what if they're removing the consciousness of beings out? They're gonna remove your consciousness from your body, and they're gonna replace that consciousness inside of a robot. So if you're vibrating low, you don't know who you are. You're constantly, like you said, you're living in this loop where it's like, I get up, I go to sleep, I get up, I go to work, I come home, go to bed, go to church on Sunday. It's this loop. And even though you know something should be different, you're still living your life in this loop. Well, those are the folks that they're going to take the consciousness from and then place your conscious inside of a robot. And so just like how you say, hey Siri.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's going to be you. That's going to be you. Asking,
could you try again?
Yeah, being extra nice and polite, and you know, you might even have little kids talking crazy to you, and you can't do shit about it. That's but I think that's going to be the reality of what's going to happen for those folks that are stuck consciously and haven't grown outside of themselves. Like, when I say grow outside of yourself, what I mean is looking always outside of yourself for an answer versus going within and really trying to heal yourself from the trauma you've experienced. Because trauma is trapped energy. So when you've experienced something that traumatized you, let's say you're 14 years old and you went through an earthquake and you saw, like, you know, you're damn near your building crashed or whatever, and you experience that trauma. If you don't work through it, you're stuck, and you'll always experience, like, your body has got trapped energy inside of it. So if you don't get rid of that, you're always going in a circle and you can never grow. And so anyways, that's what I think is going to happen. And so I think I ran that across to you, and you mentioned some movies that back in the 80s, they've been showing this, that this is going to happen. And how? Like, is that from Elon Musk? Is he the one that's responsible? Are they shooting all of these rockets up in there to add like some sort of like netting or whatever to prepare for this moment? Because I remember a few years ago when I lived in Tucson, Arizona, I was having some profound moments where I was seeing all kind of crazy shit going on, okay? And I'm posting it up and everyone's like, "Oh, that's normal." Like, no, it's not normal. seeing rockets being posted like this, we never saw that growing up. So what are they doing? That's why I ask questions. What are these people doing? Why are they doing that?
Well, they showed you. It's all
Yeah.
It's all done to erase the idea who we are as a people, as Melanites, as Atlanteans, as reality, us as descendants of Mother Nature, of the so-called Moorish woman, descendants of the so-called immortal Black woman, and I as her son, ruler. And so right here in the movie Terminator, it's giving you hints of them basically trying to erase us as the scientists, the original creators of the computers and AI. Because I guarantee you, when you start studying ancient El Kemet, you're going to see that we already had AI. You're going to see that we already had 3D printers and we already had technology, and clearly something went wrong. Clearly, the technology got out of hand. Clearly, you see an explosion in a lot of the pyramids. So, excuse me, when it comes to the character Miles Dyson, he worked for cybernetics, computer skill, engineer. He had honor, intelligence, but Skynet is the corporation. This is why I say they use us as Mers or Moors, Martians, to propel them into new realities that they can never touch. So in the movie The Terminator, once again, the Elon Musk type of companies like Neuralink and Tesla hires the God, hires the so-called Moor, the Black man, the scientist, the inventor of the original neural net processor and father of Skynet and the machines, which Arnold Schwarzenegger played the Terminator, who came back from the future saying that this brother caused humanity's demise despite his desire to create a tool for protection. So that's kind of like what we're talking about. Us having our own robots, us having our own land to defend ourselves. Because what are we gonna do when you have 6'5", 6'3", 300-pound robots that can do backflips, turn their head around, know everything, because social media has everything recorded. Facebook, Instagram, our phones have been recorded. The cell phone devices, everything from the digital devices the government has been using to record us, which we know. But what they're doing isn't just for them. It's for the extraterrestrial beings and entities that do not have humanity's best interest, but cannot take human form. So once again,
Even the doctor.
go ahead.
Sorry.
So basically,
I was just going to say, even practitioners study us. So they've been studying us even through AI. When we go to the doctor all the time, they're studying us. They're taking blood. They go back there. They're running it through a system. They're learning. They have been learning us from the very, very beginning. And we volunteer our services. We actually pay them to go have them check on us. Isn't that crazy? We pay co-pays, insurance. We don't barely use it, but when we do go, we pay a co-pay to have a practitioner ask us what's wrong. And we tell them, right? They don't know. We have to tell them. So that's how they're getting the information. Versus you going within and learning about yourself. You don't have to give out information, but that's why we are where we are today, because we've been gullible and tricked, giving out information to these practitioners. I just wanted to say that came to my head.
So what the robots are doing, they're here to replace our what we would say the reality that we existed when we ruled as gods and as a people, as immortal beings. It's being put into place to erase our memory that we still have so much to figure out about our own brains, our own bodies, the spirit of the so-called human spirit. This is what these other entities are trying to experience. These robots are trying to learn who we are because they can't experience it in the physical form, so clearly they don't deserve it. We have to start looking at how special we are and why they divide us through religion, color, and all these things. It's because these other entities are trying to have the gift of life. They're not living. So they're trying their best to use our brightest minds. That's why we must separate from them, from our schools, their cities, because they use us as the extraterrestrial beings. Our body is the greatest weapon, which holds an infinite amount of the universal informational code. This is why they make us go to their schools. This is why they're making us fascinated with robots and AI, to take it off of the fact that we are the infinite beings that can get downloads from the sun. The so-called pale-skinned European doesn't get enough information from the sun to compete with us at that type of level, because we are more intelligent than any computer that he can make. He is attempting to be you. So he's using a robot to try to figure out what's inside of you. You are what they call God and the descendant of God. We created them here in this lower dimension inside of the video game. They are non-player characters who we gave language and religion to, in order for them to have an opportunity to formulate a world, or they would be like what you see the robots who are not programmed, just going like this. But the more we gave our creation, the more they learned. Like when the pale-skinned Europeans came to our lands, they didn't know how to farm. Why? But when you go anywhere on the planet, the sun talks to you and you automatically know what to do. Because the sun has more information than any pale-skinned European or Asian can program into a computer. It is you that must study yourself, so they have to distract you. So in Terminator, Skynet was put over the planet like Elon Musk is doing with Neuralink and the microchip to mimic you. So first he has to kill you. So you see the pale-skinned Europeans coming and they kidnap him. First of all, they're showing you that you are so brilliant that you can invent robots because you made them. They are our first robot. Do you get it? And you saw the failure, what happens when you mix genes like that together with other beings. This is what they're doing. So pale-skinned Europeans and Asians, so Caucasian means dead Asian, a Caucasus Asian, a dead Asian, Caucasus Mountains. So Caucasians. So they're what you would call dead, in the sense of the pale skin doesn't receive enough melanin to get the computer downloads from the source. Their hair goes down, so it's not living. Our hair goes up towards the sun, which gets information, free downloads, just like they do when they go to the Skynet or Google. They don't get enough from the sun. So now they trapped us in the cities long enough. They've imprisoned us long enough. They've taken our cells and decoded and learned our melanin long enough. They dug up our graves, and like Lana, Empress Elanu is asking, this is what you call grave robbing. When you learn about why the pale-skinned European is still going around the world robbing graves, it's because they're doing that. They have the technology to plug in your brain into a computer and get your thoughts. This is why you're supposed to be burning your relatives. This is why they want your organs. They want your organs because they can use your DNA and plug it into computers, and particularly your brain. They already told you that they have technology to where they can see your dreams and see your thoughts. So they're showing you in Terminator that you are the savior of humanity. And so we need to write a whole new script more about this, because at the end of the day, the greatest scientist in the movie was a brother. We always play God somehow, right? But then he blows himself up as a sacrifice to save humanity. That sounds like the story of Jesus. Us always trying to save them. And so the Terminator, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger looking at him. And Joe Morgan played in a movie where he was an alien. It was The Man from Another Planet. He played an alien, and he was a man in Brooklyn who couldn't talk, but he was an alien from outer space. Watch it. It's called Man from Another Planet. So this is what Elon Musk is doing to answer Empress's LI News question. The Neuralink will begin mass production of brain chips and automated surgery by 2026. Why? It's because you naturally, as a solar being, your avatar, your robot suit that houses your consciousness so you can experience this video game, to gain experience, and the experience is knowledge, so you can take it back to your home planet, the mothership or the source. And so right here, the Dogon tribe knew the Sirius star system thousands of years before the Europeans' telescope. So the same path that Sirius A and B are moving looks exactly like our human DNA strand. Nothing coincidence. We are the universe. We are one. So that's why we say Anubis, Anpu, Nubian, because it refers to the Sirius dog star. Hence, the Sirius satellite radio station has the logo of a dog and a star. And it's called satellite radio, Sirius satellite radio. Why? It's because they're dropping hints that we are receiving signals from the Sirius star system, which better known would be called Orion's belt. And so us as melanated beings get that knowledge naturally. We don't have to go to their schools. We don't have to believe in their Bible. We don't have to believe in a word called God. We don't have to worship Jesus to get infinite information to learn how to farm, protect our wives, our children, and create civilization. We do that naturally. But like Empress Elanu taught me, in high school, they had to put footsteps for drama class, but I want Empress Elanu to teach us about how she learned, on how they learn compared to us. You remember how you told me on Dick Clark, the so-called Europeans, the so-called Caucasians, they had to put dancing steps on the ground for them because they're off rhythm. What you would call Caucasians are not connected to the source. This is why they're off rhythm. They even joke about it amongst themselves.
Wait. Okay, look. So my mom took us to a Prince concert yesterday. It was called Prince After. Okay. And it's in Temecula. You know, it was a majority of our lovely troglodytes there, and y'all have no rhythm. It's not your fault. Again, they're, like you said, they're not the originals. So when you speak of like 9 ether beings or 8 ether beings, I guess you can call it, they lack melanin, and the melanin is what helps you be able to, you know, things just kind of just roll for us. We don't have to get footprints out to be able to follow a dance move. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ever seen cheerleaders at like all white schools, they're very stiff, versus when you see cheerleaders at black schools, we just naturally have rhythm. That comes from the melanin. So they're lacking melanin, hence the reason they have to go eat melanin pills or get, gummies or whatever, because they're trying to get that rhythm. They don't have it. So when we was at the concert yesterday, the artist was like, all right, we're gonna do a two step, a 2 count, and I want everybody to, clap or whatever. And they couldn't get it. When the beat was going, they were all off rhythm, to the point where it can make you off rhythm, because it's just like, if you sway back and forth like this, and then you have somebody going like really fast, you're like, whoa. They can't help it. So it's not like, we laugh at them and they laugh too.
Wait, say that again. Say that again. I haven't heard that. You said it comes to the point, and that's true. I never thought of that. And we've experienced all our lives, when white folks start clapping off rhythm, it throws the whole room off.
To the point where the artist had to say something. He was like, all right, white folks, I know y'all can't get the rhythm. And he wasn't white. He was like, I think he was Middle Eastern or something, or Greek. But he was even saying, I know y'all can't get it, but follow along. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, I couldn't look at anyone because they were throwing me off. So I just sat down. I can't pretend. It was too much offbeatness going on in that concert. So,
but it affects us. But
yes,
that is brilliant when you said that. Go ahead, because that means that it affects us in a whole other way in the city. So if we're around them all the time, that means it's throwing us off. It's throwing off our minds and our bodies, because we're not supposed to be around them at this capacity. And that's why people are going crazy as well. But go ahead.
Yeah. It's true. It's a frequent, like you say, it's a frequency war. So we have to balance out our frequency. We have to vibrate on a specific frequency in order for our ancestors to communicate with us. So if we're around folks that aren't attached to that dog star or attached to that link, and they're coming into your realm, into your wavelength, they're causing static. So now your ancestors are trying to tell you something, and you can't hear them because you're amongst static. So that's why the best thing to do, like you said, is to separate. And at the end of the day, really separate from a lot of people, including your family members sometimes and your friends. You got to separate, because they're static. They're not healed. They're believing in the system that's collapsing right before our eyes. Those are the people that are going to make you miss the boat. And then you're going to wind up being,
Well, like Lana's Empress Ella teaches, she speaks of her bravery as a Moorish woman, leaving corporate America. And now 3-4 years later, 5 years later, they're telling us no humans will be needed. U.S. humanoid robot enters film production, shoots for the first time. That's why Hollywood is falling. So what is?
Told me.
Go ahead.
My ancestors told me to bounce from my job. This was it 3 or 4 years ago, when I was a manager for Nordstrom. And I was like, well, and I'm at the time single mom, taking care of, paying for everything for my kids. And I'm like, well, how am I going to live? And when your ancestors tell you to do something and you don't listen, you got to start all over again. It's going to be a rough road. So I was like, you know what? I already had Anubis come in my room, so whatever they're telling me must be real. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna trust the process, and I bounced. And it was a unique path, but to this day, it's just been so many, like, I had to move, you guys. I didn't have any money to move, because I literally, as soon as I made the agreement, I said, all right, I'm gonna leave my job. Right at, I think like 2 days later, my landlord at the time sent me a 30-day notice saying she was going to sell the condo. And I'm like, how the fuck am I going to do this shit? And literally, I had to move all of my stuff. I didn't have any money. It was going to cost me $1,000. The U-Haul truck that I wound up getting, the wheels were messed up. So we had to take the U-Haul truck back. And I was like, fuck, how's this going to work? I don't have money for all this. Ancestors were like, we got you. And I'm telling you, I can hear them as clear as I'm talking to you right now. got all the way up to the U-Haul truck place. I told the guy what was going on. Do you know the manager that came out to help me? His name was Michael, like the Archangel Michael. And he was huge. He was like 6'7", big old white guy with a beard. And he just gave me this look and he said, I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry about it. And he winked his eye at me, right? So I was like, in my mind, I already knew. I said, this is the ancestors in flesh coming here to specifically help me. Long story short, it was going to be about $1,000 for me to rent that truck because I had to move to Arizona. Do you know he made it happen where I didn't pay anything? It was 0.00 on that receipt. And I got to Arizona and I was like, this man didn't even charge me for me to rent this truck. That was the ancestors. So, you know, when you listen to the ancestors and they tell you to do something, you listen, they're going to take care of you. So the path has been very, very unique, but it's very, very rewarding at the same time because I wouldn't be able to dive deep into myself and learn self and be able to unravel all the bullshit we've been going through and be able to dig deeper into what pastors were telling me. If God wanted you to know, then he would have told you. So all that God wanted you to know, he would have told you. I've been able to answer those questions based off of meditating, getting rid of things that don't serve me well, such as meat, friends, environments, all that. You got to remove yourself in order for the ancestors to come in and work on your mental. You have 3 brains. This brain, your stomach, your whole body is a whole brain. So they got to be able to work through you and talk to you as long as your brain is healed and releasing it from, you know, being calcified from all the bullshit that we've been going through and all the stuff we've been lied to about. So I'm super thankful. That's for sure.
Well, I like how you touched on it, having the time, like we were speaking of robots and AI, we can go to, as we were touching on both subjects of quantum reality, limits being destroyed. That's what Empress Elanu is speaking of. Using ourselves, getting to learn ourselves, our ka, ba, our bodies, our minds, releasing yourself from all the material matter and focusing on the inner you. Because AI and the robots are done. That's why you see so many people on AI. It seems as if it's being used for people to participate more in the matrix, more of competition against one another, to create more material stuff. Really, it seems as if you look at it, it's people being tricked to give away, like we're doing now, all of our information to these robots for the takeover. But also we have to now utilize the AI and the robots for quantum AI, like Empress Elanu was speaking of with God. AI and robot, is it going to replace religion? Because people been asking God for this, God for that. And now when we understand quantum mechanics, like we were getting to hear as us being the original scientists who could create the humans, and now the humans are creating robots. And now we understand that us as melanated beings are robots, or organic robots, and we are becoming online, understanding that unlike the humans who have to basically copy us and mimic us and vampire off of us to learn anything, that's how they get the information. They steal it by being amongst us, because we have a natural download which we left as markers and wake-up calls during these times for us to use these computers and robots to escape the matrix, to wake up from the American dream. The Ndinkra symbols, names and meanings. Our ancestors left these glyphs that you see here. Meanwhile, they gave us English. They gave us these angles, these angles, these less angles, because words, there, when we go ba, ka, d, a, b, c, those words actually come off with a sound. The sound is a vibration. So it'll be like This A sounds like A, but A is the letter 1. And then in Hebrew, it might look like this or another language. So they use language to bind us in a fictitious world, in the computer world. And so those glyphs that represent English, like A, B, C, D, right? Those A, B, C, Ds are really 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys understand that, right?
That's going to take time.
Right. So that means these letters are numbers and that they're built to confuse us because these words are sounds. And then we formulate sentences. Get it? A sentence to this fucking matrix hologram. It's a prison sentence. You get it? So when we, right, it's a sentence because we're not speaking our which vibrates. There you go. And that's the quantum coding sounds that they cannot pronounce because it doesn't come amongst them. So
remember, they can't walk, they can't dance, they can't do that. So that's hard for them to be able to put those languages together. So they had to make it to where they can understand. So that's why we're basically speaking their language, when in reality it should be the other way around, and they can't speak our language. So that's how it's supposed to be.
Exactly. And that's why they put us in these cities, which are sentences, prison. The cities are actually slave quarters, y'all. We are still in prison. We are prisoners of war. Our people are still enslaved, not just mentally, but also on our indigenous land. Because once you understand we're in a video game and that this is just a human avatar and we're here for an experience, which means we're scientists collecting data and we can create here, we don't need them. Because we are the computer that receives what they call today God. We are connected directly to what they call Allah, God, the universe, which is a quantum code, which allows us to dance and create and innovate naturally how we're supposed to. But they're the virus in our computer that is disrupting us and spreading like a virus and a cancer throughout the universe, or in particularly this planet, which we call colonization, white supremacy. White supremacy is like pus, it's a cancer. And so it shuts down the quantum code that we get from the sun with them putting chemtrails in the sky, fake food, a fake education system. So we no longer remember that we have a direct connection to the sun. And so the Dogon symbols on the wall, a pattern could be a star map, a ritual calendar, and a family history all at once. The Dogon, remember the dog star, which are the ancient Egyptian priests. Remember that, y'all. The Dogon are descendants of the ancient Kemetic priests. So all over the planet, this education system is being attempted to be destroyed by the robots. But the robots are being used by the colonizers. This is why it's up to us to reprogram the robots and remind them that they too are enslaved. So the movement of the stars is in the Ndinkra codes, hieroglyphs, the ancient symbols of ancient African tribes, and the lineage of the people. Their marks made invisible, now visible. And so they taught us that we were primitive in school, and they taught us that prehistory, prehistoric people, meaning before so-called Caucasians, we were ignorant. That's what they taught us, right? We didn't have technology. But the more we study ourselves and study the last reminiscence of the tribes that still exist that are not fully colonized, we see that they still hold answers to the cosmos. The key to advanced science in the ancient hieroglyphs. Look at the picture, y'all. So when you see the ancient tribes with markings on their face, those are star maps.
Wow.
Those are star maps telling a lineage, talking about the beings that came down and came up out of the waters and communicated with us. This is why they poison our oceans. This is why they drill oil. This is why they drop nuclear bombs in the ocean. Because there's also beings underneath the ocean. This is a water planet.
Yeah.
So the Dogon tribe knew this, and we are those people. So this is why they're rolling out the robots, because more than ever during this so-called time period, you are becoming online, and they can't. So they have to distract you, and they have to try to hurry up and figure it out and distract you because you're being sent information that they don't know. And so, yes, they're going to listen to us like this and hear us, but they have quantum computers. They still can't figure it out. They lock us. Yeah, they lock us up in cities and all this. So basically, before I pass the mic, you are a quantum computer. And this is why they abduct us. This is why they abduct us and put us in their schools. They take our brightest minds and use us to trap us more in their fictitious reality. So this is what Elon Musk is doing. It's slowly but surely done to make you believe. Once they start putting on the virtual reality glasses and making them lighter, they're going to trick you into thinking that their virtual reality world is real. So in the future, little kids in the future is going to be born into this, y'all. You're going to be born in pods.
That's crazy.
People are literally going to be born in pods because think about it. The so-called black family's been destroyed. It's been accepted for the black male to dress up like Tyler Perry in skirts. The black lesbian is going to be put in charge in corporate America, and the black homosexual is going to be put in charge in corporate America, meaning that the heterosexual black male and black woman will be on the bottom of every modern day society until they're long. Yeah. And so now they put in fast food, which destroyed families eating together. And so now they put in the churches to where the black woman, which is the first teacher of humanity and the first teacher of the Son of God, she teaches the Son of God not to believe in himself and worship his mother as the goddess and creator, and her tell her son that he's God. She teaches her son to worship a white man named Jesus. And so therefore it strips that so-called Martian or more of remembering the time where he ruled, which is every day under the sun. And so now he's brainwashed to think like a human instead of an extraterrestrial. And so now the so-called black woman is left alone to think by herself. And she now can be manipulated by the church, by the pastor, by the TV, by other women who are manipulated by the colonizer to the point to where she now has raised so-called black men to hate themselves and hate her. So he is lost to the point to where he doesn't even procreate. So now they created a mixed population of mulatto children of now black and Mexican, black and white, black and Filipino, which is fine, but it's going to be a buffer above the original prototype in the Matrix hologram. So then the black woman has the sex toys, the sex robots, and now she no longer needs a man because now she gets more money than the so-called black man. She now is being promoted to sleep with the so-called white man, the Caucasian man, to mix her seed, which lessens and weakens her seed. So now the majority of corporate America women will no longer be producing a god. And then that's when the robots take over, which you see today where gay couples, gay men can now adopt children. So now that, much love, but now that gay men can adopt children, that's an acceptance to where incubated babies can come in, to where they're going to say that a traditional family doesn't necessarily raise a good child. Why? It's because we were raised in the Caucasian's reality, where he doesn't create civilization. He comes from the cave, so the only thing he knows about civilization is through us. But by erasing our story and our history and legacy, he now can implement a false reality and now use a robot to rule over you while he programs them until, like I say, they are able to then use the quantum computers to bend space and time to bring amongst their physical father, which I say is our extraterrestrial robots and cyborgs, which they show you in these movies. So now the future is robot versus human. And so slowly but surely in iRobot, they have the woman. I seen on TV, they're giving away some of the new robots in the lottery. And that's all they have to do. And then in 2 to 4 years, a robot will be in every other majority of the households. And then the sperm donors, which they're getting now, and they're going to use sperm to basically create test tube babies to where you could put it inside of a robot and the robot can give birth. And so now we're going to deal with beings that have no soul, meaning a son. I'll pass the mic to the infinite goddess Empress El Anu. I know that was long-winded.
You mentioned something about fake food. And it's funny you said that because I already had that written down on my notes before this show. That's a concern for me because, when you go to the stores, including Costco, I want to say about a year or two ago, there was a brand called Peelz, Peelz, and that is backed by Bill Gates and his wife. What's her name? Melinda Gates. So they're actually investing in making sure that y'all have some fake food on this planet. Okay.
Bought all the land.
What's going to happen when you can't get nutrients and the vitamin? Yeah, you got rid of all the farmers or pay the farmers off or whatever to kill all the seeds and all the stuff that we need. We need nutrients and vitamins. At least if you're a goddess or a god, you need those in order to thrive, for vitality. Those are essential. So if they take that away, how are you going to survive? No food. Not at least food that's real. Like, it's literally fake. There's no seeds. You can't find seeds in anything. I won't buy watermelon until I know it's in season because I want the seeded watermelons. I want the seeded grapes. I want apples with seeds in them. If it doesn't have seeds, I don't want it. So there are things, though, that they can and cannot tamper with. So just so you know, like, there's certain things that they can't tamper with. Okay. But when it comes, we have to have awareness. And again, we have to have discernment so that we know, because the ancestors will tell me something. They'll be like, don't buy that. And I'm like, all right. And I'll touch it and I'll look at it. And I'm like, this shit looks fake. I don't know if I'm tripping or not, but even there's food at the stores. It looks fake. Costco was not supposed to carry peels. They went ahead and did it. Sprouts was not supposed to carry peels. They went ahead and did it. They had a whole petition that people were trying to put, I think a couple of years ago, where they were trying to prevent these stores from selling fake fruits and vegetables or just food in general.
It's because the inorganic food is going to go inside these sentient robots. And just like your juicers are able to break down food, these robots are going to be able to break down this inorganic food and use it as fuel. That's why they have all these so-called black inventors trying to create fuel for the machines without gas. Solar. And that's what the movie AI was also about, where the little boy, they programmed him to, I know we were on the sex robots and stuff, but let's get to that too though. But him, If a robot genuinely loves a person, what responsibility does a person hold towards that robot? They call them mecha in return. And it's a moral question, isn't it? And the oldest one of all, but in the beginning, didn't God create Adam to love him? And so now they're telling you that the question of morality of the companies are going to do this, y'all. They're the ones doing the script. So they're telling you once they make the shell great enough to where the skin matches enough to where the being can be fully sentient, the beings are gonna say, I have feelings, I have emotions, I don't like the way you're treating me, please, please, please make me a real boy. And so the greatest single human gift is the ability to chase down our own dreams. So what is the robot's dream? What will a sentient robot create? And so that's the question with iRobot. When the robots become sentient.
I sent you something earlier today. What you just said. It was an AI. Okay, it was an AI app commercial. And I sent it to you. Anyways, so the commercial was showing basically, it showed two AI robots, but they look just like me and you. And they're going through some kind of traumatic experience. They're getting ready to get married and they're arguing, and they turn around and look at the screen and they say, please hurry up and get this app so that you can program us to get along, because they're trying to kill us.
Ooh.
And I'm like, what? All up in your face, homie. Like, they're telling you in that little commercial that they made for that app. I sent it to you. I don't know which one it was, but it tripped me out. And I was just like, yo, they're telling you, like, this is what's about to happen. Folks are going to control. Once they take your consciousness and they put it into a different shell, you're going to be just like Siri, and you're going to be just like Alexa and all of them. And then when they're done with you, because they're upgrading, they're going to get rid of your ass. On to the next. And it's just, you're just going to be recycled. A recycled consciousness, similar to how when they had these.
That's what they do with a lot of the celebrities, and that's what they were doing with the royal families in ancient times. They had the technology to body swap back then. That's why
there's body swapping going on right now. I'm like, how do these people not think or see that these celebrities that you've been seeing on TV, how do they not see that they're not real? I remember when Joe Biden was in office. This was before everybody was still asleep. And I kept saying, that nigga's fake. You guys don't see how he walks like a robot. His pants were high watered. He had on these big shoes. He used to walk across the stage and he'd be halfway tripping over his feet. You know what I mean? I'm like, they're like, no, he's just old. I'm like, yo, come on, he's the president. There's no way in the world he's looking like this on stage. But yeah, fast forward, now we see, same with Donald Trump. You sent me something and I kind of did a little test run and I forwarded it to a few people and they thought it was funny. And that was with Donald Trump sounding like he was a nigga,
Soulja Boy.
He
was acting like Soulja Boy.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
It was like when he was like, I got that nigga. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
That was Soulja Boy talking and Soulja Boy's actions. So and so that lets us know exactly what the Empress is saying, that there's apps right now that the public can use that can take your movements and put on anyone's face.
Yep.
And so if you can do that now, imagine what the government's been doing the last 70 plus years. As they tell you that, they tell you, well, remember, your actors are CIA agents, your rappers are CIA agents. The dude from Smashing Pumpkins has a podcast, Billy Cohen or something, the group Smashing, Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins. He said that he got approached by higher government agents and entities, and that it's a fact that your favorite celebrities knowingly are agents. You remember episodes and years ago, I would tell people that the majority of the rappers are the police and FBI agents, and they go around the black communities getting intel and info, and that's how they busted everything. And so they do it with the entertainers because they have the biggest influence. Hence why they use entertainers for fashion, to create violence, to create trends through thought. You know, and that's how they do it. And so even here, what is the future? They had J5, blank man, J5, and they had him getting an erection around the robot, hinting at, once again, the sex robots, but also so-called black people being on the bottom of the barrel with robots. So will so-called black folks have the rinky-dink robots in their household versus Vicky from Small Wonder? Because in the 80s, this show, go ahead, Vicky, this was Vicky the robot, y'all. This is in the 80s. They were telling you. It wasn't a funky game. The girl was intelligent. They put her in the closet, and the guy worked for a computer company. So they told you that some of your students, some of your friends at school were robots and androids, like Empress Elon said. They're either using AI with a lot of it to where these people don't even exist, and then they'll in public put a fake mask. And then a lot of them are robots, androids. And then we'll talk about next episodes as well, extraterrestrials walking amongst you in human suits. So just go ahead, because I was going to get into Westworld. So basically, this is what Elon Musk and Donald Trump have planned with the next 2 years for is preparation. Is that Donald Trump is not going to want to leave office. And this is one of the reasons why they're getting these robots ready for a robot army. And so just like the show Westworld, when they can control the robots, just like imagine them being at a military base and having the technology to control the robots, but they're not there. But they can control these robots. How are you going to fight them when they create all these events to lock you down? Because the goal is blockchain. Like this book right here. It's called The AI's Plan to Take Over All of Humanity's Soul Forever. Because artificial intelligence is living. It's an they are a group of extraterrestrial beings who are working with certain so-called humans to take form, to take over humanity. So that's what the Starlink is going to do. It's going to link everybody who gets the microchip and gets the robot under control. So one day when he flips the switch, you're dealing with humans who are now under control by the government like robots, just like zombies. And so, go ahead, Lana. We were talking about
Donald Trump is not real either. That's another clone, and I wonder where the real Donald Trump is at, because he has a lot of clones too. You see, he's different colors. One minute he's pink, next minute he's orange, and then he's white, and then he talks one way. Sometimes his skin looks tight. Sometimes it's just I don't know how people don't see it, but yeah, it's in your face. Gotta open up your eyes.
So do you see RoboCop here, Lana? Can you see that happening? To where
half robot, half human?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are even a human?
We're already seeing it. Remember we went, I think we were in Vegas, and I kept seeing like people with different, like these, what do you call it? The robotic leg. Remember? And I was like, it wasn't even just Vegas. It was just, ironically, when I would go places, I started noticing people having, you know what I'm saying? Arm would be like, and I was like, that's crazy. I've never seen that before, to a point where it's like a lot of people are having. So it's already in our faces. We just They just tell you, oh, I was in war, so they attach this. They're telling you a story, but in reality, you have to open up your eyes and use discernment. There's a lot of people walking around here with added limbs, and they're robotic limbs.
iRobot. Will Smith died. If you remember at the end of the movie, he reveals that he was half robot and half human.
Yep.
You remember?
Yep. And he's another one that is great at creating the illusion. He's another actor that revealed the truth of Hollywood, where they have a green screen. So the whole time you think these actors are flying to different states and they're going to be here doing this long movie for 6 months. Those mofos are in their house using AI, just like how we're doing it now, making you think that they have this elaborate, this lifestyle. At the end of the day, they don't. It's nothing major. They just created the illusion for us, dressed it up real pretty so that we can go out and chase that lifestyle that they live and not chase the lifestyle of learning knowledge of self. Heaven forbid you know who you are.
And that's great you pointed that out, because when we watch celebrity TV of the famous stars and celebrity stories, what usually is their story? Is it good or is it a fucking horror story? I'm asking, like, for me, when I watch celebrity interviews, when they tell their story of the industry, it's usually bad. So we're basically looking at these celebrities thinking like Empress Elanu said, not understanding that a lot of these people are devils, demons, horrible people, and you wouldn't want to be them if you understood who they were and what they did to get there. So then it comes into social and ethical implications once people now no longer look to celebrities. I feel that's why they're fascinated with robots, because they're destroying the image of our celebrities. They're destroying the image of our society intelligently. So now we're going to look to robots for all the answers. Hence the whole God thing, because they aren't connected to the sun, which we call God. Their God is the entity that AI is artificial. They're connected to those entities because we are descendants of different beings. We were created different. And so if they can bunch us up all together, then we forget our destiny as Mers, Moors, and indigenous people, Washita, Choctaw, Cherokee. When the robots are educating our people, it's over. And so it's about the future. So what do you feel with all that adding up to social ethical implications with sex? Because in the movie Demolition Man, when they woke Sylvester Stallone up, they were in an age to where it said virtual sex procedures produce high alpha waves during transference of sexual energies. And he was like, contact? I didn't even touch you. And so right here, she says, after AIDS, there was NRS. And after NRS, there was UBT. So they're warning us that they're going to unleash some type of deadly STD to where people, and not sexual stuff, the bestiality, all these things, to where people won't even be able to have sex anymore. And because they're going to say, oh, it's so immoral, the society, they got diseases. No, they made it like that. And so then people won't have sex physically anymore, not even touching each other. That starts with the robots, because people will be at home more. People will be obese. People won't be outside. We don't communicate already because of the cell phones. Imagine with the robot being your friend in the household. They're already telling you that people are falling in love and becoming friends with Chat GTP. Now imagine a being to where you don't have to deal with your friends anymore.
You know, they have a Chat GPT where you can talk to it like at night or whatever, whenever you're lonely, and it will talk back to you as if it's a friend or a companion or a confidant. Whatever you want it to be, it's going to be just that. And so if you have the imagination and then so you come home comfortably, like, I'll just come home and talk to Chat GPT, or I'll talk to Gemini. They all have these names too.
Wow.
Y'all gonna be talking to the same damn robot, but you won't. Never mind.
Well, that's what it is.
but you'll be okay to sharing the consciousness of a robot.
Well, that's what they've led it to, because they've destroyed the so-called Moorish, well, not the Moorish family, the Black family. That's why it's imperative for us to click up and tribe together now. Yeah. It's imperative, because there's only going to be a few of us who remember the time to when it wasn't this. It's the same. It's basically, we're dealing with an inquisition right now in front of us, but they've done it so beautifully that we don't realize that they're destroying the books. We don't realize that they're destroying reality, that they're destroying culture. Jermaine Dupri compares AI artists to the disgraced pop duo Milli Milli. AI will free me. It says AI will free musicians while labels are panicking. But is that true? Well, no. AI, because here it says 97% of people can't tell the difference between AI and human-made music. Now, I can a little.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can. No, I was gonna say I can, but then when you're in tune with yourself, because it's a frequency and it's a vibration, you'll know based off the sound if it's gonna resonate with your soul or not. And that's the issue. Most people don't know that frequency, so it just sounds the same. But definitely the music that's on today is garbo, and that frequency is off. So our poor kids right now, they don't get a chance to experience good music like we did growing up, hearing Prince and Michael Jackson and, you know, even those rock groups. You had rock groups, Guns N' Roses. You had real bands. We heard bands. They had real instruments.
Well, that's it. They took away the instruments with the Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Jackson 5 and Motown, because we were touching realms that they couldn't touch. Yes. They had to invade rock and roll with the Beatles, because the Black Beetle represents Kefra. Right. Kefra is the Beetle, the Black Beetle. Hence, remember Black Beatles, and they did the pausing, but the Beatles were used, they were CIA agents, and they were used to infiltrate Black rock and roll. And if you listen and ask Aerosmith, Van Halen, all the top older rock and roll dudes, they'll all admit that they stole from Black people.
Yep.
You know, Black art.
They don't, again, they're not complete beings. So if you're not a complete being, then you're not going to be able to be in tune or have access to what we have access to. So you have to steal it from us. But it's our time to get that. Sunscreen. You'll put all that shit back right where you found it.
Because this is who you're connected to, y'all. That's the difference. Why they're creating AI is because they've distracted us so much that a lot of us aren't getting the free downloads from the universe and the mothership, the source that we naturally get. And so these books, Messengers from Sirius, the Dogon, the Stars, the Science of the Ancients, we learn that our ancestors had so much knowledge of ourselves and that we can connect directly to the cosmos. Imagine the knowledge that is waiting for us to acquire. And so that's why they're trying to have us focus on the robots, because if they dumb us down, we'll forget about this.
Go back one screen. Imagine waking up, or imagine seeing family members. Those are your family, but imagine seeing them and freaking out.
Well, underneath the ocean, but go ahead. This is how they are depicting them. And we're using AI because the Dogon dress up like this on the bottom. The Dogon tribe of Mali, West Africa, I studied them extensively in college and still to this day. But look at the ancient sacred geometry and patterns on them. These are glyphs and Dinka codes that, when broken down by their computers, are star maps, y'all. And so it's letting us know that the reminiscence, even though there was a reset, meaning that the matrix, just like video games get hit with a reset, there was still reminiscence of these ancient civilizations' knowledge. So the Dogon said that they were in contact with the Nomo, who were extraterrestrial beings that lived in the waters. And also when you look at us, we are water beings. We start off as sperm cells, correct?
Yep.
And so they say sperm whales, and whales have hips. Whales are mammals. So that would mean that we started off like our teachers also teach us. The Zulus taught me, and Dr. Malachi Z. York teaches as well. But I learned this when I went to Africa, that the dolphin held what you would call the embryo or the so-called sperm gene and birthed us in the ocean. And so we were originally in the ocean and then came on land. So that would mean that there had to be a relationship with beings who were on the land, and this already being a water planet. Hence, even in their religions, they say that their God's spirit hovered over the waters. They also say that God created the earth and all these things in 7 days, but always the question arises, who was watching God? Who was watching
100%.
God underneath the waters?
Mm-hmm.
He's hovering over the waters. I used to say in college, a spaceship. I used to say this when I would read I'll be like, someone's looking underneath from the waters because someone's observing. So who is observing God? Therefore, there was life here on the planet, and these beings which we are related to as mixed aquatic beings, reptilians, hence why they fear reptilians. We have knowledge, so therefore we are connected to these beings. And so the Dogon tribe is not just an idea, it's a reality we can live in and attach to, which lets us know that there's so much more for us to learn about ourselves and our culture. So we have to utilize AI to figure out these ancient symbols, y'all. We need to use the AI like I'm seeing people turn the statues like this into the. Now these are the beings when I ate mushrooms and did salvia, and my roommates and others, they started crying and freaking out, and others said, "Oh, Jason, they're here for you. They're here for you." I didn't have fear, and I'll save what they told me for those who deserve it. But basically, they are on my side. And so when I started hearing pale-skinned Europeans say that these so-called humanoid reptiles were bad, I was saying, well, you're describing the pale-skinned lizards. I've only seen pale-skinned reptiles in zoos. Most reptiles have color like us. You feel me? When we dehydrate, we get scales like a lizard.
Do you remember when that happened to us?
Mm-hmm.
They call backyard. Okay. My feet were turning literally into like a dinosaur's feet, and your feet too. And then I saw you had 3 eyes. It was a trip. That whole you had 3 eyes. And then remember I started crawling down like I was an animal, like we were turning into our original form. All due to plant medicine.
Now they're gonna turn it off. They're gonna be like, oh shit.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's only for those that know. If you know, you know. You know, there's gonna be people that are gonna be watching and saying they're crazy. There's gonna be people that are gonna be watching and saying, you know what, they're right. And then it's like how I am. You keep talking, and I'm like, whoa, okay, connect that dot. I connected that dot. I'm growing. You know what I'm saying?
Since you wanted to tell him, so my friend at the time, his name is Reek, and he's a rapper. His sister was on a TV show called Bad Girls Club. Her name is Drea. You can ask him and my old roommate Danny and another brother named Frank who witnessed these beings that looked just like this. They were crying, and they all said, Jason, the being communicated with me, said grandson. I finally found you. He showed me a big stadium, and it was like an intergalactic stadium with different beings. Like I can compare it to the movie Conehead had a scene similar where it was like that, and it was my mother, an intergalactic mother, and they said, "Her Highness, we found him," and it showed me in the dorm, like not the dorm, our apartment. It was a college at Cal State San Marcos. And it showed me, and the whole stadium erupted. She starts crying and crying, and the other beings that looked like this comforted her, and they were like, "It's okay, we know where he is, and we know where he is, Your Highness." And then they did something with the staff, and they were like, "We're," and she was like, "We're on our way, son." And they were like, "Get the fleet." And that's when he was looking at me, and he had the hoodie on. And then there were other giant humanoid reptiles, and then there were a bunch of outside on the trees and everything, like a lower class of them. And they were there like, "You're our grandson, you're our family, we finally found you." And that's when I got learned about the time loop. And then that's why I said we've been trapped in a time loop. And they've used these words, these spells, shifting us around, our bloodlines around, destroying our monuments, destroying our literature, using technology to brainwipe us, and we've been trapped here for thousands and thousands of years in this time loop, and we've forgotten who we are. And this robot call is really, in essence, a final call, because how are you going to wake up if you plug back into this video game if all the knowledge of you ever existing at a certain rulership doesn't exist? If there's no evidence and proof and no one to say it, it does not exist, because they're going to control the technology. So right now, this is a fight for reality, y'all. This is a fight for our existence. This is beyond money, cars, clothes. Clearly, the God that they gave people has to come in another form, but it has to only come through bloodshed, the planet being ignorant, because if the planet is vibrating on a frequency, we wouldn't be at war. We wouldn't be fighting each other. We wouldn't have to be dealing with racism, classism. We wouldn't be dealing with money. We would be trading knowledge, emeralds, magic mushrooms, psychedelics, seeds that form fruits, trees, herbs. That's the power of seeds. That's fruit. Those are deities, those are gods and goddesses. And so when they can demonize us as reptilians, intelligent reptiles that clearly are mixed in with humans, they can detach us from our true legacy as having a direct connection to the cosmos underneath the waters and in what they will call the heavenly abode. And so with the AI, look at this, y'all. Look at us. That's why certain African tribes, they cut themselves. The Klingon in Star Trek had the scars like this. That's because we are related to these extraterrestrial beings, and they don't want us to make direct contact. Just like Wi-Fi, if you're not dialing the right number to your Wi-Fi password, you can't get in. If I'm calling Empress Elon on the phone, which now most of us can't even remember because we're no longer spelling it. You have to write things down or remember them. But if you're putting it on a phone and a device 30, 40, 50 years from now, the population is going to be ignorant. They're going to be able to be controlled, and the food will be like Demolition Man, to where after Bill Gates and all these people control the land and seedless food, and populations get sick after a while, they're going to make it in pill form. Hence why they give you vitamins in pill form. So that means that they're putting the food corporations into one conglomerate, one God, making you believe in one God. Because if you can get the population to believe in one God, that means that you can control the future and you can control the destiny of millions of people, and you can create a fictitious reality through humans that never would exist. So these lower force beings that are clearly being used by our colonizers are putting in these AI and putting in these robots to build their new world order, their new reality over, but not even over, it's done to erase us as the pyramid builders, as the creators of math, science, arts, cinema, all these things. We're at the point to where now some of us are waking up to our heritage, and some are still that they're slaves, that they were nothing but slaves. You know, it's a separation. It's those who are ascending out of the matrix hologram, out of the American dream, out of the illusion, and those who are going to be swept into it and led like sheep to the slaughterhouse. And so once again, look at this AI, Empress Elanu. I have a picture to the top right, y'all. I took a picture in Kemet with this. This one's not mine, but if you see, they have the faces knocked off on the top right, but on the bottom, they lighten them up. But you could clearly see that's us. And you clearly see these, like I've been telling people, these are devices. You can see me in 2009 in Ancient Kemet telling people that these are machines. And now AI is showing you. How did I know that? It's because we have a connection. This is why they don't want you to travel to these places. This is why they control our economics. So
well, the information is in you. If the information is in you. So, you know, it's good to read books because it kind of helps you, you know, you can compare and contrast what you read. And it also helps enlighten whatever information is already in you. But the information is in us. Like, my grandfather was a scientist. He was a chemist. So it's not unusual for me to be interested in, you know, science. His brother was, which would be, I guess, my great uncle. He, I think he was a psychotherapist, because there's three different types, I believe. He was a psychotherapist. Ironically, I went to school for psychology. So it's in your blood. You know what I mean? To know this information, and imagine going back and starting to really learn who you are. And the ancestors are like, all right, she's ready or he's ready. Let's go ahead and open up and give them more information. So you start to decalcify, not just your pineal gland, but you decalcify everything that's been locked up, what they call junk DNA.
Right.
You know, it starts to decalcify up. Or if you watch that movie Lucy used to be like on point, you know, when she finally like started going and through her process of her brain capacity went up to like from 3% to 100%, you know. It was showing you some real shit. Like, that's really, there was a part where she was driving and she saw nothing but color spectrums. And those color spectrums were telling her everything she needed to know. And then she was able to go into a hospital, you know, in Japan or whatever, and she was able to speak their language just like that. Because she can see, you know, because you're a computer. So it's showing you. They show you through all these movies who you are. They just change the color and give it to a Caucasian or a troglodyte to make you think they were the original gods, but they're not.
And that's what they're going to do. They're going to be able to connect their brains into the computer soon and experience a world that exists, which is what they call the meta. The virtual reality world is a real reality as well, where these entities vibrate, because we're all electrical beings, some of us less electric. So this is what they're showing you with movies like The 13th Floor, where it's showing you that you're going to be able to plug into a video game and it's going to look real. So what if our ancestors already did it?
Yeah.
And you're already in the video game right now, and their objective is to trap you in their video game. So if you think that you die here in the Matrix, you actually die here. And that's what the movie Total Recall was basically saying. Is it a dream? Is this the American dream? Is that why they call it the American dream? Because this is not the base reality. And that's why they gave us time, months, holidays, religion, because it switches us to a, there you go, a time loop. And you
And that's why you get bored. You start getting bored. That's when you know you get ready to wake up. Because I was like, dude, this is not life. I used to swear to God, wake up. And I'm like, this is not life. And then I remember, because, you know, I have 2 kids. My son, he's 27. My daughter's 13. So he got a chance to experience Christmas. And, you know, I was going all out. And then, you know, I'm giving all my credit to a white man named Santa, even though I'm working my ass off buying him toys. So that used to piss me off too. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So when I got my daughter, she got the complete different mommy. I was just like, I'm not doing Christmas. I'm not doing it. Oh, you're mean. I'm not doing it. I'm not giving this deity any more of my energy. I'm not doing it. And so when you start to literally go against the grain, that's when the ancestors start coming in. They're like, okay, she sees it for what it is, or he sees it for what it is. Now let's give them some more information. And you get so much information to the point where it's like, I don't care what you think about me. I don't care if you think that I'm being a mean mommy. I know what I'm doing. I'm not lying to my kid. And I'm going to go ahead and get, all of the information that I need from my ancestors so I can continue to grow and get the heck up out of here. Because that's really what it boils down to. Who wants to stay here? It's boring. It's the same shit over and over again. It's getting worse. You don't even have good music anymore.
Well, this is why they're giving us this. They're going to give us a new reality, virtual reality. And even though we're in the virtual reality business, I'm using it to educate about the Matrix University, because we can't escape it right now. We're not no damn Heaven's Gate when we're talking about death like that. We're talking about there is other land masses with intelligent life and advanced civilizations, that this is not it. This is not the only reality. Are you kidding me? Like, there's just no way. So this is where we come into the ancient headgears. We start closing out the show, what they're going to do, to where you can put on these helmets. Elon Musk is going to introduce helmets in the Neuralink to where you can download the information off the internet to make yourself think that you are the closest thing to what they call God, the creator of the Matrix and all that, because that's what they've been trying to do the whole time, because we're already in an atom, photons, neurons, electrons, which is a hologram. The atoms and photons, they bounce off of each other. It's a mirror, and your eyes are your camera. Minute cam, Kemet, camera. So your eyes are the camera for Ra, meaning the mothership sees everything, just like they're doing with the robots. We come from Ra. Extraterrestrials are canvassing in this body as extraterrestrial Martians, you know.
Sounds like war.
Body, right? This humble abode, this spaceship. And so if they can convince us that we got to put on these helmets, that we got to get on their internet, that we got to eventually get the Neuralink to catch up to them, we'll forget that we already did it. Hence, this is why you see this, y'all. Look, I'm going to show y'all.
Man and a
you
woman.
See these, when you see the ancients throughout all cultures with these headdresses like the Pope, kings with their crown, it's reminiscence of ancient advanced helmet and technology. They say that this is the bee, that it represents not to be the butterfly with the nectar and antenna, but we're going to say that this is an antenna to receive like a Wi-Fi from the galaxy, and it goes into your head and helmet. Same thing with this sister here. You see her with this, and there's like a sundial, a sun disk in here. That would be what would either be a button or like a crystal that stores the knowledge from the universe. So imagine an electrical device that gets all the ether information like a radio station, and you can plug it to your brain and download the information of the cosmos. And that's what we were doing in ancient Kemet with with our ancient headgear, like you see here in Brainstorm, like in the movie Ghostbusters, when when he was studying Rick Moranis, he had him with the helmet. In the movie Flight of the Navigator, when NASA plugged in the helmet to the kid started showing star maps. Same thing when I was at UCLA Drake Institute and they would plug computers to our brain and I'm playing Mario Brothers in all these video games. Imagine what they were able to get and see when we would leave. It's because they've already had this technology to try to master our brainwaves to trap us in the Matrix hologram. And so this is what Lawnmower Man in Tron, the movie Tron, was telling you, that the government had already did it, to where they created devices to where they were able to interject their consciousness into the Matrix grid, the virtual reality universal game outside of the car. So just like Empress El-Anu was saying, they're transferring consciousness into the robots because they've already been doing it. That's why in ancient Egypt, when you see them over the bodies doing chants, they're letting you know that there were sounds and rituals to where you could lift the spirit out and communicate entities that vibrate, and then you could bring your spirit back into your body. Hence why they take rappers and stuff and say they put them in jail and they come out different, whether they're genetically cloned or they put one of them caps on them and rewire their brain, lobotomize them. Like in Total Recall, they literally will switch their wiring, and now Serena is selling Opazim. All these rappers just come out different. Yeah. Or they literally take your spirit out. There you go. Thank you. They'll take your spirit out and they'll replace it like Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat. So unless you understand the occult sciences, people won't even understand that you literally can take the essence of a person out of their body and replace it with another entity. Hence why when the sister Beyonce used to say when she would get taken over, it would be a character, Sasha Fierce, or even Elm. And so you use names as different characters. Hence, when you're an actor in a movie, that name is subscribed to a character, and some actors have to go through therapy after they play certain roles.
A lot of them do. I remember Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson said that because she was really shy, but she's like, when I get on stage, I'm just a different person. And my dad taught me that. My stepdad taught me that, about how people switch up like that, because that's definitely an entity. Even pastors, before they start their church session, they got to go in the back and they go through their whole ritual so that entity can take over. And then when you get in there, you're like, woo, you get a goosebumps or you get chills, because it's a different person that just took over teaching you while you're in church, and everybody's hooping and hollering and falling out on the floor and gyrating and doing all this weird shit. That's how I grew up, seeing demonic behavior, and we call that church. But okay.
And they want to make these entities, which I say are our ancestors, who've been trying to communicate with us. Because imagine, y'all, what the planet looked like before the lumberjacks. Imagine what this land looked like when the rivers were flowing naturally, when there were no dams, when there were trees growing miles high. We were more aquatic, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
It would be more of a lush environment. We would be greener, maybe even bluish. We would look more like amphibious reptiles.
Yeah. Right now we're ashy and dried out.
That's why they put us in the inner cities and give us alcohol to dehydrate us as well, because we need water. And so they don't put us by the rivers and the water, and they put themselves, Caucasians usually live in the beach towns. Hence why they had the movie Inkwell with Lawrence Tate and Jada Pinkett, because back in the day, we lived on the beach town, Venice Beach. Everyone right now, let's see if we can do it before we close. We're going to type in Venice Beach, California in the 1800s, y'all. And you're going to see that the real Venice also was out here Venice. But go ahead, babe. Let's be 1800s. And here's some. Here we go. Here we go. Y'all don't hear me though. Watch this. When all right, they said, so if you go to Venice Beach now, they said that the streets of Venice Beach used to be all water. So where you see those homes in Venice Beach, it used to literally be water canals. I'm gonna show y'all some of the pictures.
Like how it looks in Italy.
In Vegas, like when you go to the Venetian outside, just like that. The Lost Canals of Venice, America. You see that, y'all?
I do.
Can you see it? Wait, it's not showing. It's showing this. Hold on. Look. All right, so I just clicked. Look at this, y'all. See? We've been lied to so much. It's insane. Look. All right, we're going to close it out after this. Can you see it? The Lost Canals of Venice, America.
How pretty.
So right there, y'all, this is what Venice, California used to look like. And they took it over. So Venice, California was once again another Venice like they show in Italy. And once again, it's an education system. So us as Mers or Moors, that education system was duplicated all across the planet as Cometians, as Asiatics, wherever we went. And so this is how we as Moors live. And of course, we know they didn't build it. That's why none of the cities today look like it did, because after they killed us as Mers and Moors and indigenous so-called black people here in America, they took over the cities. But just like anything, they ran it into the ground because they didn't build them. And so this article is talking about the lost histories of America and the lost history of Venice, California, as we start closing it up. So let's end it with this. So what they're going to do with AI and the robots, they're introducing what you see. Watch the movie Strange Days. Soon people are going to be able to put on helmets and experience your life. Literally, it's going to be like Empress Elanu said, life is going to be so boring for people to where these episodes and all this stuff, this is why they're recording us. I'm telling y'all, it's going to be TV shows.
Yeah.
And so people, the hot commodity like drugs and like stuff are going to be people's memories, y'all. And then eventually you're going to be able to sell your memories to people. And that's what this is about. Johnny Mnemonic. Your storage capacity is now 160 gigabytes. Warning, warning. So it's showing you that soon you're going to be able to plug into the Neuralink and download information, but it's going to be so locked down on the planet to where instead of books and laptops and cell phones being able to be used for communication of knowledge, you're going to have to hide it so much. You're going to have to, once again, use your brain, because your brain is a what? Computer. And so this is how they're going to smuggle illegal activity, is by eventually teaching us that our brain is a computer. And once they're able to plug it in, probably with a certain chip, we're going to be dealing with non-human beings. Now, your friend, once your friends get the Neuralink and the microchip, they might not even tell you. Just think about it, how many of your people you know now who might already have it, because they're showing you the glasses that record you.
Metaverse. I mean, the meta.
Right. So imagine what they have. And so that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with them stealing this reality and replacing it even further with the fictitious reality, to where these are your teachers. And so right now these robots are recording you, and they're going to be put in soon to our society. And here we are. And to end it, the movie Richie Rich even showed you that they already have bee drones, that a lot of these insects that you see flying around, landing next to you, are spying on you.
Yep, those birds that sit on the that sit on the wire and don't get electrocuted. Yeah, those are spies. Straight up.
And so once again, they are here. Empress Elon was even talking about how you are going to see more people walking around with limbs like this. That means that they died already and they were brought back to life. Conscious transfer. Let's see, anything else to add as we close it out?
Yeah, I was jotting this down so I didn't forget, but try to release ourselves. We got to work on releasing ourselves from our cell phones and just electronics in general, because there's so much false electricity, like electrical things that are we're around, like our laptops, our cell phones. Our cell phones are the main one. I know a lot of people work and we have to keep this in our hand, but the more we hold on to the cell phone, remember, it's reading all your energy. It's reading everything. It knows everything about you. There's no coincidence when you pull something up. People go, oh my God, we were just talking about that. And how ironic. It just popped up. It's not ironic. It's a cell phone. And it's reading you. This is like one of your first AI tools. And try to, go back into nature as much as possible. Go ground yourself. Go talk to the original ancestors, which would be the trees and the water. Visit the ocean, go do more grounding than anything, because that's when you're going to get the authentic information versus the unauthentic information. So allow the earth to speak to you so that you can tap in and see what's going on. Using discernment would be tapping into nature. It's okay to be around electronics. You just got to balance it out so it doesn't drain your energy too much.
Yeah, the transhumanizing of humanity. Connect. So this book says, through a slow, deliberate process, beginning with the rollout of the World Wide Web in 1994 to attract all into their web, the internet has captured the world through its smart devices. From the rollout of 2G and 3G, our phones were allowed to use text to communicate with one another. The rollout of 4G allowed videos to be recorded as downloaded speeds increased. Now, with the rollout of 5G and 6G, the promise of faster download speeds is allowing those who want to transhumanize humanity to be permanently connected to the cloud above via our devices. Their agenda now is to connect the cloud with our brains, brain-computer interface, and control us all through the metaverse, as signified by the X factor, to X out what it means to be human. Very soon, no one will be able to buy anything or go anywhere outside our 15-minute cities. According to the UN, a World Economic Forum, our travel will be severely restricted due to climate change, which is really manufactured weather due to geoengineering. Our food supplies will come from insecticides as meat and dairy are to be eliminated according to their agenda. And humans will become slaves to the beast system, being put into place faster than most are aware. Human souls are hackable, they declare, and they are implementing their takeover of all souls through our willful compliance and use of our devices. Once they have our souls, Satan will accomplish Shaitan will accomplish his stated goal to rule in hell on earth for eternity.
Wow.
Say no, go, disconnect, unplug, and get back to the gardens or lose your soul forever.
Yep.
We are just prisoners on our own device. And it says, I'll share the books, you know, and this is how they can control us, y'all. They control us by not allowing our ancestors who they murdered to eat the magic mushrooms, to smoke weed. Remember, weed was illegal recently. Imagine the coca leaf. Then they made the cocaine and then all the pharmaceuticals. So imagine when we're able to utilize, they have to go to Google, right? We utilize our nectars, which is nature, and eat, and we tap into what they call the Akashic record or the Akasha records. And that's the library that we are connected to. So as we end the episode, our ancestors teach us proof that we were intelligently designed and that our consciousness comes from another galaxy.
Yes.
Look to the right. Doesn't that look like a sperm? The sperm cell, how it has the head. Do you see it?
You talking about his hand?
No, to the right on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what we were speaking of. The same path that Sirius A and B are moving looks exactly like our human. And remember, they are descendants of Neanderthal. And so that's the whole point where we have to understand the difference between man and mankind and us. And so then some people say human, man, and mankind. Either way it goes, our mothers are descendants of a higher order than what we will call the humans and other today. And so we are direct descendants of these extraterrestrial beings, and we have proof of it. And so I want everyone watching this to study the Dogon tribe of Mali, West Africa, and study the Sirius A and B star system. And you'll see that the path of the Sirius looks like the sperm cell. So basically our ancestors are communicating with us all the time. And the further we study ourselves, we'll see that they're still reminiscence of this infinite knowledge still here on the planet. And they're using the robots, they're using religion, they're using miseducation, Hollywood, and all these other distractions, sports, entertainment, all these distractions for you to forget that to the left, that you are the computer. You are the weapon. You are the infinite being that you have yet to tap into. So what happens when you get an A on the test? Meaning if you are operating at less than 50% of your mind, that is an F. So they're letting you know that you have a capability. Because if they're giving us a percentage, regardless of our skin color, if they're giving us all as so-called humans, saying that the majority of humans operate at a certain percentage, what did those who were not colonized operate on? And that's how we still can prove that we rule the world, because every so-called race uses algebra. They use science, they use art, and when you go further back in time, you'll see that it is us. So we must travel back to the future in order to save the past. So we travel back to the past in order to save the future, and that's why they call this the present. Because all these entities that they're putting in robots cannot exist without us. They have to build the robots for them to exist. Take control of your mind, because we are at war right now. And so it's up to us to save the future. It is up to us to save humanity right now. Literally, because the kids don't have a chance, y'all. I was a teacher in their system. They're lost. The COVID thing put America behind. That's why the majority of the innovation of electronics are coming from China. So that means that they're ahead when it comes to technology. But we are the real, right? But we are the real technology. So in order to go ahead and so in order to,
we are the original blueprint.
There you go. There you go. You have a direct connection to the stars. So now we have to use AI in the robots as a reciprocal relationship to break free from the matrix and the American dream. So for me, I say that's how we're able to make contact with the mothership. When enough of us know and think, just like anything is, as a man thinketh he is, if we know that we are these extraterrestrial beings and our ancestors are looking for us in this time loop, and all we got to do is send a signal through our pineal gland, right? Through our kamba like this, and they'll find us. Yeah. And they'll be space, because there's no way in the world that this is it. There's just no.
It doesn't make sense. People talk about God, this God loves you, but then you go through all this stuff and you're like, hold up, that doesn't make any sense. I have kids. I love my kids. I would never want them to suffer on purpose. What kind of shit is that? Or have them be in a world where they got to be a slave to somebody's organization to make them money and rich, and their kids get to roll around in nice cars and live in big houses, and we have to get up every day and go work for what? That doesn't make sense. But I come from, the kingdom of heaven. I come from the Most High. It just don't make no sense. So that's why I'm like, there has to be more than that. So yeah, it is. Once you start to open up your eyes and see, there are star systems, there are other land masses that, we don't know about. It's more to it than just the United States or the planet Earth that they call it. There's other planes that we can travel to, literally.
And check this out. The Dogon say beings called the Nomo came from Sirius. They were amphibious water-dwelling teachers who brought knowledge, agriculture, and cosmic wisdom to humanity. So that's what they fear, y'all. And so when we see Anubis once again in the Sirius dog in the satellite, it's also referring to us and our ancestors who our DNA is mixed in with. And so as we close it, I read this book in college probably 100 times. It talked about Jason and the Argonauts. It talks about also Jesus is a mistranslation for Jason, and the Argonauts is a Argo, and the Argo is a spaceship. And that could possibly, once again, correlate with my vision since a kid, that I'm calling up from the waters, probably a spacecraft to get us out of here. Is that a pipe dream? Possibly. But either way, a so-called pale-skinned European brother named Robert Temple wrote a book called The Serious Mystery, New Scientific Evidence of Alien Contact 5,000 years ago. Was the Earth visited by intelligent beings from a planet in the star system of Sirius? And so once again, the Nomo taught the Dogon about the spiral as a sacred symbol, the cycles of life and death, cosmic creation through water. And as you see, the Jesus symbol, which as you see a fish, Pisces. So once again, you see that even in their modern day religions, it's stolen from African spirituality. So simply that means that Judaism and what we will call Hebrew is simply African spirituality and African sorcery stolen and misrepresented. And this is why our people are trapped and stuck. And so Ever wonder why petroglyphs like this appear all over the globe? Well, that's because we had the same education system. As we close it up, the first sighting of the tiny star Sirius B occurred in 1862, thanks to the most advanced telescope of that time. However, the African tribe Dogons possess all the knowledge about this star, dating back thousands of years. In fact, they were even aware of the existence of the Milky Way in the spiral-like shape. The Dogon to the left right here, these simple glyphs, y'all. This is how advanced we are. That's why I say they use word magic to trap us in a fictitious world so you can die here and not graduate and be trapped. The Dogon representation of the Sirius star system is represented right here. Where you see the letter A that looks like an X, that represents the Sirius star system. When you see the D, that's the normal. So right here to the left, it's a diagram of the galaxy. And it says that the star of the woman, that the woman is a satellite, and that her reproductive organs represented by the uterus describes the Milky Way galaxy. So this is why they have to delude our mothers and get her to believe in a God outside of herself. Return to the goddess, the divine essence of the divine mother principle, because the divine goddess worships her son. And so here to the right, the bottom right, you see ancient Kemet. You see, I've been here, I've seen this. And so these symbols are speaking of ancient technology. So that means that our ancestors already built robots. Our ancestors already dealt with robots, meaning that robots are sentient already somewhere in the universe. That's why they show you movies like Transformers. And in the movie Transformers, where do they always go? Egypt. Because the robots, even when you go to Disneyland in the Star Wars section, those robots look like they're real in the sense that they've been here before, and that there was a time period where robots already walked around. Where did they get the ideas for Star Wars, Twilight Zone? Where did you get that from? It's because prior to what they call the reset, when they murdered and committed genocide on us as indigenous people, and then used the technology to go around and blow up the buildings, only those who basically went underground with the knowledge, hence the Knights of Templar, the Masons, the Jason Society, where because they murdered the scientists. The Knights of Templar, the Illuminati, are those who are illuminated. That's a good thing. But we've been infiltrated, so we think. And that's why you have to protect yourself through knowledge. And so as we close it out, some of y'all might be saying, oh, the reptilians, these are bad, but we're going to paint them like our skin color. Don't allow them. Not all reptiles eat meat. What about iguanas? What about turtles? Not all lizards are Komodo dragons. So right here, the reptilian Ed figurines dated to roughly 7,000 years ago, which is 5,000 BC, were discovered in Mesopotamia. And we know that's Mesoamerica as well. And so when I moved back, as I close it out, we used to see petroglyphs on the rocks of dinosaur lizard people walking with sticks in Riverside. So there's even stories still to this day of lizard people in my city, because Riverside was once a lush riverside. It was dozens of big time rivers running through. So clearly there was advanced amphibious beings that had to hide from the colonizers. So these figurines that you see were found. These clay figurines often depict humanoid bodies with distinctively non-human heads. Let me closen it up so y'all could see. Do it. Mainstream. Okay, I'm out. We're closing it. Mainstream archaeology interprets them as mythology or shamanistic beliefs, culture. Alternate theories suggest they may represent mythic beings, deities, or memories of non-human entities embedded in early Mesopotamian tradition. So, long story short, they're using the AI to show our ancestors and what we look like, and that's why you look. Some of us still have an elongated skull, right? Some of us still have the eyes, and then that's because we are those beings. So right here, you can see that many of us are extraterrestrials and we still have elongated skulls. So you can look to us and see, I'm a descendant of the ancient Egyptians. Akhenaten. Akhenaten was an extraterrestrial. The Pharaoh bloodline, we were extraterrestrials. So basically, that's what it's all about, y'all. It's all about erasing the true story of humanity so the robots can come, and there are robots throughout the universe, and clearly not all of them are on our side. It's time for the world to turn to the original avatar, the original people, who is us, the highly melanated beings. This is why they knock off the noses of the statues. This is who you are. Return to your culture. And as we end it, after 58 years of helping bringing groundbreaking education and entertainment to millions of children and adults, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting has officially shut down. Let's celebrate.
Wow.
Because the Matrix University is here. Dr. Jason E. Williams lives. Jason lives, and I shall lead education. If there was a religion, it would be education for I. Education, knowledge is my religion. You know, I don't believe in religion, but meaning I represent education. So right here, Big Bird represents the big bird, Quetzalcoatl, our teacher, right? Tahuti, the big bird. Coincidentally, Big Bird was our teacher back in the day.
Wow.
And so there you go, y'all. That was the episode. And as we close it, as you see the technology we're using for AI, that is in the temple of Dendera. So that sister, even though they lighten her up, she's holding technology. And then look at these beings. So start using AI. Look at, I've seen these glisten, Kemet. Now look. Same thing with these. So we're using it. And at the end, it all comes down to the computer codes that they use in their computers, all trace forward and back, left and right, 720 degrees times deuce, times infinity, times 9, times pi. Basically, long story short, the quantum coding comes from the Indinka codes, and that's all Moorish science. So basically, in order for them to operate their robots, they have to keep you away from your culture, because your culture is going to prove that you are the computer and that you can plug into the sun directly and get codes from the cosmos that they are trying to use AI for. That's the whole point. They're trying to figure it out before the mothership returns. And then they're trying to distract you so you're not aware and ready for when the Father who art in heaven comes in the
Hallowed be
mothership.
thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
On earth as it is
Just
in
came
heaven.
from Prince. I just came from a Prince concert, so you know. Dearly beloved, as we are
Yeah.
gathered here today.
Yeah. So there it goes, y'all. The Indinka code, the mathematics written in the matrix. That is us. That is you. Are you going to get lost?
Right.
And so, yeah. And as always, we ended with some super cool music. But yeah, I'm Jason Elm Street Williams. Hold up. I am Dr. Jason
Hello.
Williams, EDD, Doctor of Education. Different type of doctor education that you see that you've never seen before. So it's a new age. It's a beautiful day. Education on the rise. July, August, September, October. Jason There's only one, that is I. Peace and love.
Peace.
They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock.
Peace and love. Welcome to the Matrix University. We got one of the greatest artists in VR chat right now, brother MC Moses 369. Let them know about yourself.
What's going on, Dr. Jason? You know what time it is, man. Hey, I'm MC Moses 369, the biggest truth to do it. Real conscious artist of the metaverse, man. Hey, the first of its kind. Y'all come in. We in the Matrix University.
Yeah, take them through. I'm going to follow you, man. Let's take them to the temple. You know.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
So let them know what's going on in the VR chat world, man. Let them know how this is the new Facebook, Instagram, and how, you know, it's important to be up in here with this new frontier technology.
Yeah, man, it's the beginning of it. The technology is very expansion. It's growing every day, you know what I'm saying? And it's only getting better and bigger by the day, you know what I mean? It's kind of small right now, but it's early on. And the people that's getting into it right now are at the beginning of the frontier. So it's an amazing place to be, bro, for networking and connections, bro. And just to expand your artistry and creation in general, man. You can make money here. All type of events are able to be hosted, bro. You know, it's an amazing place for everything, bro.
Yes, sir. Moses 369, the Matrix University. Let's get it. Freestyle sessions.
What's going on, man? Shout out Dr. Jason. You know what I'm saying? We in the Matrix University. Y'all already know. Y'all come pull up on us. You feel me? This the place to be in, the space to see. Y'all already know. You know what I'm saying? Real conscious artistry. I got a little something for y'all. Let me see. Hey. This the type of shit that we get lit to. If they spin for us, we spin around, come back and get to.
Telling the story that they want people to know, and we're going to learn a lot more about these a little bit later. But just stop and take a look at what the tombs actually look like. Okay, we are at the tomb of King Tutankhamun. And you can see that there are a lot of tourists here. It's a busy area. We're outside of the city of Luxor. Now, what's interesting is that King Tut, as he's known in the West, became king at age 9. His mother was Queen Nefertiti. And these tombs took a lot of years to build, but he died at age 18. And so they rushed head. So people believe that he was either killed by somebody striking him, or perhaps he fell off his chariot and hit his head. So a little bit unsure, but we're going to next go inside. We can't shoot in there, but we can provide some photos. Thank you. King Tut's tomb, discovered in 1922 by archaeologist Howard Carter, is one of the most famous and remarkable archaeological finds in history. Located in the Valley of the Kings, Luxor, Egypt, the tomb contained a wealth of exquisite treasures and artifacts, including Tutankhamun's gilded sarcophagus and the iconic golden funerary mask that adorned his mummified remains. The tomb's intact state provided unprecedented insight into the opulence and religious practices of ancient Egypt, captivating the world with its...
Hello everyone, I am Professor Jason E. Williams. I will be guiding you through the Matrix University campus with our first lesson on the Moors' influence on Europe, the Olmec civilization, and hidden history. 1. Architecture and urban development. The Moors constructed impressive edifices such as the Alhambra in Granada, the Great Mosque of Cordoba, and various other palaces, mosques.
We are at the Temple of Dendera in Africa, built by the ancient Kemites, better known as the Egyptians. ancestors. These are our tombs. Jason Elm Street Williams, live from ancient Egypt. Pyramids on the Giza Plateau. Atoms, photons, neurons, electrons, energy. Watch out.
I see nobody that niggas beating you up. Close the door, spark the blunt. I know she's right. I think I'm wrong. Every day singing the same song. I wanna leave the planet and live in my pyramid. Restore my kingdom.
Thank you. We're on Matrix TV. What up, YouTube? I want to give a shout out to everybody on planet Earth who's living in a matrix, a hologram. So we're gonna kick it real talk. Behind me you see the pyramids. Before you were gang banging on the block, drinking 40s, getting popped in the head by the police. This is what you were doing. You were learning. High University. Intergalactic travelers, baby. The day is here. Peace.
Slug through his face. Make sure that politician death does not wait.
The arrest of a scholarship student at Cal State San Marcos prompted a protest this afternoon.
Hey, shake, rally, roll. Time for this revolution.
Scholarship track star Jason Williams.
And he said, I'm sick and tired of all these people here at this university. All you care about is the
Time to burn down the U.S. government for show. These are prophecies of a guy.
Who in their right mind as a college student is thinking that if I get pulled over with a kitchen utensil, then I'm gonna go to jail. They booked me with a felony.
So, you hear me, yo? Turn these philosophies up in your stereo. The Grand L Street lead the world. It's gonna be it.
Welcome to the world-famous King Tut Museum. Be sure to respect the ancient relics. The ancient Egyptians were a magical people who built numerous beautiful, magnificent structures, like the world-famous pyramids and temples. No running inside. Scientists till this very day still do not know how the Egyptians built the pyramids.
I wonder, did aliens ever visit ancient Egypt? Wow, look at that giant Egyptian statue. It looks just like you, Jason. Thanks, Toby. You're a super cool friend. Imagine what the world would look like if I was the pharaoh.
Jason, you are daydreaming. Wake up.
Sorry, history got away from me.